Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome back, Common Ground alumni. Hi, miss y'all. Okay,
Oh,
so we wanted to get you guys together since this is technically like CPS's spring break. So usually like the seniors and juniors, even sophomores and freshmen would have been able to go on college tours and they can't. So we thought you guys are the best experience they can get right now. We would love for you to be able to share some of your experiences throughout this week. So every night at 7, we'll have a different discussion as it relates to college. So tonight is our HBCU night. So who's heard of It's a Different World before I start? I'm curious if y'all even know the title. But raise your hand. It's a Different World.
I watched it before too.
Mr. Woke, Kayan doesn't know what the world is? Okay. Do I need to see the video? Do y'all need to see the intro? First of all, can everybody hear me? Okay. Yeah. Should we play It's a Different World for them just so they know?
We can.
Okay. Do y'all want to see it? No? Okay. We don't have to forget it. All right. So It's a Different World was a sitcom that came on in about like 1987 or so in the late 80s. And it pretty much was a spinoff from The Cosby Show, right? Y'all know The Cosby Show? Okay, good. So it was a spinoff from The Cosby Show, and it was following Denise's Huxtable experience through a fictional HBCU, which was Hillman College. It was based in like Virginia, right? So through that experience, like
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Andy. Put yourself on mute. Oh my God. Let me mute her. I muted her. Mute. Hold on. Mute. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Andy, we heard you. Welcome. Good. I'm glad it's working. So yeah, so pretty much It's a Different World just gave America a look into what the HBCU experience was, right? So that kind of helped to push like Black young adults to go into HBCUs. So a little known fact about HBCUs, as I mentioned before, as everybody was getting on, just within Common Ground alone, out of our 81 alumni, 35 of our students attend HBCU. So that's a big portion of y'all, more than I probably thought. So there are over 100 HBCUs in the United States. About 90 of them were created between like 1861 to 1900. And there are 4 HBCUs that are medical schools. This is for the students that are watching in, just so y'all can get some information about HBCUs. About over half of African American professionals have graduated from HBCUs in this country. And then that's pretty much it. Okay. So I want to introduce everybody in the room for the current students who do not know y'all. So in the top, under Keela Farrell, we have Jade Burton, who is a freshman at Jackson University. We have Deshaun Blake, who is a senior at Morehouse College in Atlanta. We have Kayan Beauchamp. Was that close? Close enough? Oh, okay. He is a sophomore at Howard. We have him who attended FAMU. Carl, you gonna wave? They may not. Leah Freeney, who is a senior at Philander Smith. Wave, Leah. Jelani Hill, who is a freshman at Kentucky State.
That's me, y'all. How y'all doing?
That's the extra. Bria Burnett, who is a senior at Hampton University. Can you wave, Bria? Evan Abraham, who is a freshman at North Carolina A&T.
Hey, y'all.
Brandy Howlett, who is a sophomore, junior at Hampton, junior. Jade Brooks, who is a freshman at Harris Stowe. Andi Earles, who attended Howard. Can you wave, Andy? Jonathan Smith, who is a board member who attended Jackson State University. Can you wave, Jonathan? Chigozie Nwampa, who is a freshman at Philander Smith. Jovan Myers. Why is Jovan in here? Sorry, y'all.
I'm a co-panelist.
He's a mentor. Leah Smith, who is a freshman at Fisk University, and Miss Sharon Wilson, who's a mentor who attended Clark Atlanta University, okay? All right, so I'm going to ask questions and you guys can raise your hands or come off of mute if you want to answer these questions, okay? So everyone has decided to go to a HBCU. Can anyone share with me why they decided a HBCU over other schools?
We had to raise our hands to answer? No.
You can go, Chigozi. Go ahead. You're fine.
Well, when I was going through like my my post like high school process with like scholarships and about to attend like an institution for the next 4 years, I thought about it like very hardly. And my dad, my mom were encouraging me like to go like a state school and stuff. And all of my life, like even throughout like kindergarten, I was surrounded by like African American people. Like I was never surrounded by like any different race until like I got to Kenwood, where it would just be like a mixture of like some white kids, Asian kids, and other races. And so when I decided to like attend Philander Smith, Philander is like a very small like community, and it's not that big, and like a majority of like the staff and the faculty are like family. They're like parents away from home. So when I was going there and throughout my first semester and this semester before this outbreak, people were still trying to check up on me and stuff. It was like one time I injured myself and my teachers were like concerned, like they were emailing me, calling me, and all this other stuff. And I just feel like I was basically at home. So that's one of the main reasons why I decided to attend HBCU.
All right, anyone else here? Why they chose their HBCU?
Smith?
Oh,
Can.
oh shit. Yeah. I chose my HBCU or HBCU in general because as it pertains to like me being a Black person and my identity, I just felt like it was the right thing to do so I can, find out more about who I am and what my purpose is as it pertains to the role I have to play in bettering my community.
Okay. Thank you.
I personally chose to go to HBCU because I know you're supposed to expand your horizon, but I was thinking about being comfortable with my environment, and specifically, I feel like the HBCU experience would have been good for me based on like the extracurricular activities for African Americans, because I decided to join the Stump and Shake team, which I really wanted to do. So.
Anyone else? Maybe one of the adults want to share why they chose HBCU? Not adults, I'm sorry. One of our staff members or board members want to say why?
This is Miss Wilson Sharon. I really wasn't thinking about an HBCU, but was grateful that I did go to Clark's. Most of my friends, everybody from Chicago, went to Morehouse or Spelman, but I did go to Clark and I really enjoyed it. The opportunity was good. The major that I was majoring in, it made sense for me to go to Clark. Everybody from Chicago was like, why don't you transfer over to Spelman? It didn't make sense paying more money, and my major and concentration was basically focused at Clark. I think Clark has a very good resource center. Like just now, I don't know if everybody's familiar with or even knows who Joseph Lowry is, but when you attend a HBCU, usually the freshman week, they have a freshman speaker. They have a whole setup for you to get acclimated to the school and everything. And Joseph Lowry, who recently just passed, he was, 98, I believe it was. And he was our freshman speaker, and he was just really, really awesome. And I really enjoyed him speaking. I enjoyed how they structured everything and just how the network is and the support that you have going to a HBCU. So I felt good about going to Clark. Unfortunately, I didn't finish there because my mother ended up getting sick, but I definitely would have stayed there all 4 years. But I think that when you resource and look at different schools that you're trying to go to, when you realize that you really want that support, I think a HBCU gives you that great opportunity to have that.
Okay.
That's it.
Anyone else?
I can chime in. Can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think my journey was a little bit different. I chose Jackson State based on the fact that I went to go play baseball in college. To be quite honest, going to HBCU, my brother went to a HBCU, but it was not on my radar. Probably first of all, because people made it seem as if you went to a HBCU that you would get less than of an education. And I was trying to go to a school where I felt like I get more exposure to play baseball. What I learned is the exact opposite. It's not the fact that you're sacrificing your education when you go to an HBCU. They're just creating a whole different environment for you to learn. I felt like that you had more of a support system. You had more people that you can connect to. And it was people kind of cheering and cheering you on. You just were not like one of the many numbers. I feel like you just really had somebody kind of rooting on you, making sure, keeping you accountable. So some of those myths that's out there about the fact that if you go to the HBCU that you might be subsidizing or getting less than of an education, may not have the same opportunities if you go to another school that's a bigger university. I think that's definitely something that's a myth, and hopefully everyone who currently attends a HBCU will speak highly about that, just to confirm that myth is truly a myth.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Everybody good on that question? All right. So we can move on. So those of you who are still in school, can you share with us your experience so far at your HBCU, what your atmosphere is like, or maybe your first impression when you got there?
I'll go. So my experience so far has been pretty good. At first, I was supposed to go to Morehouse College, but I ended up at Kentucky State University, which is in Frankfort, Kentucky, like 30, 45 minutes away from Louisville. So at first I'm like, man, I'm about to transfer. I don't like this school. I don't want to be here. But once I started opening up and once I actually started like seeing what the school has to offer, I actually ended up liking it. So my first semester ended pretty good. I was taking pictures for homecoming. I was getting paid. My second semester before it got canceled, it was going pretty well too. Like I won a pageant for the Deltas. So Mr. Debonair for the Deltas on Kentucky State University's campus. That's kind of summing it up a little bit, but my experience has been pretty good overall, considering what happened in the past and what's going on now. So.
Okay. Anyone else?
My first impressions at Morehouse, I got there. It was a whole bunch of traditions, and it was just a lot going on. Freshman week at Morehouse is very impactful. It shows you why you step through the doors and the type of man that you seek to become. And now I'm a senior, and it's almost over. And looking back on these 4 years, I can say that if I had not gone to a HBCU, I don't think the man that I truly want to be deep down inside, I would have been able to get that assistance becoming if I hadn't gone to a HBCU. And that doesn't have to do with the stereotypical ideals of a manhood, because that's not what they teach, right? You got to be this, you got to be that. I think it's just about identifying all of the opportunities that you have, what sits on the table, and then how you use them when you get to that last year and you're looking at grad school like, oh my God, I can finally do this, right? And I can move forward and prosper with all the obstacles that come, because we know that HBCUs present obstacles, but it challenges you to think a little differently and survive a little better than other people.
Okay.
Like Deshaun said, yeah, when I first got to Jackson State, it was a lot of like traditional stuff going on, the fraternities, the sororities, like making us excited to actually be there and stuff like that. It was cool. With like academics, I felt like my counselors, like my counselors specifically, I felt like she made it easier for me to like talk to her if I need help or if I'm struggling like any classes. I can just come to her and ask personally, because usually like if I was to ask a student something like that, I wouldn't get the same help as I got from her. So that's what I really like.
Okay. I'm gonna start calling on people. Bria, tell us about your experience at your HBCU.
So I attend Hampton University, and when I first got to Hampton, like the campus is beautiful, like by far. Just, we're right on the waterfront. It's a lot of, boats, sun's out, it's nice. And then like, coming in as a freshman week or NSO week as we call it, new student orientation, it's like filled with, like everyone said, it's just a lot of traditions and stuff that goes on, a lot of parties, and you're just at that point that week, that's when you make your friends, like that, that you carry on, for the next 4 years of your, college career. So, but like after my first semester, like I didn't like Hampton at first when I first got there. I was like, oh, okay, it's cool, but it wasn't, what I anticipated it to be. But I realized like it's what you make it. The people you hang out with, like they make your experience. What you do, it makes your experience. So don't let the school or, whatever it is that you want to do, don't let that deter, your experience. You have to make it your own.
Okay.
I want to follow up with Bria. I go to Hampton as well, and I'm a junior, and I felt the same exact way like when I first got to Hampton, because it's kind of like in the middle of nowhere. And just being from Chicago and transitioning from like a major city that's like fast paced to the middle of nowhere, really like a country town with nothing but white people, like I was really out of my element and I didn't like it as well. But just attending that school has really taught me in life, like it's really what you make it. And like, for example, if you graduate and get a job in the middle of nowhere, but you get paid $90,000, like, are you going to quit the job and be broke just because, you don't like where you are? Like, it really just taught me how to, like, grow in other ways and, like, just make the most out of nothing, to be honest. So I agree with Bria on that.
Definitely. And then, like, that's at the point where you find yourself, like, being that first year is like, defining, like as a freshman, like your GPA matters, all that stuff matters. So like, yeah, the parties and stuff are going to be there, but at the same time, you're there for school. So like I said, it's all about how you make it.
Yes. And definitely to all is it like any 8th graders on here? Not 8th graders, seniors on here that's about to go to college? Or no?
We have a mixture of freshmen through seniors in here.
Okay, yeah. If y'all listen to me, take your GPA serious. Freshman year, all that party and stuff, that's gonna be cool. But these internships and all that, like they really gonna be looking at your GPA and the things that you're doing on campus. So just don't get caught up in the wrong mix.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah. And it's starting off. I think that the thing about it is that people need to understand when they start, the freshman, sophomore year is going to be, from a complexity perspective, your easiest years. So you need to make sure you ramp up that GPA as high as possible in those first 2 years. Because when you start to get deep into your major, right, it's a little bit harder to bring it down. But when you're trying to climb up, man, it's a steep way up. So you got to start strong and hold, because once you start to get into your junior, senior year, your major classes become a lot more challenging, and it's a little bit more difficult to raise your GPA. So you want to start with a high base. So to our point, freshman year is going to be fun, but it's also, you got to understand, it's probably one of your easiest years. So you got to make sure you maximize that GPA that year.
So even for the freshmen who are in high school listening, that still relates to freshman year of high school too, right, alumni? When you guys were applying for college and stuff, and they were looking at GPAs, if you didn't have a very strong GPA, it kind of started from your freshman year not doing what you needed to do. So if you're a freshman, like take advantage of that your freshman year in high school to keep your GPA high.
Yeah, and it's a balance too. It's not just, it's your GPA, but it's also be active. Like, you know what I mean? When companies start to look at you, if you call it a one-trick pony, and you got a 4.0 GPA, but you're not active in any type of activities, and I get somebody else to compare you against who might have a 3.2, but on SGA or active in some other activities, that balance of leadership versus the classroom matters too. So make sure that you get involved and active, engaged. It's not all about academics. It's also about the difference that you make, you want to make on the campus and the impact you want to make within the world. So that starts, on the campus as well. So academics strong, but also make sure you start to get engaged in things that you're passionate about and start to drive those passions in college.
I wanted to agree because I learned a lot from I have friends that go to JSU that's like sophomores and juniors. And if you're planning on like joining a sorority or a fraternity, what he said is good to not only have like academics, but they also want to see that you joining clubs or like coming to like different things, you know, like showing that you're different from everybody else. And I myself, I want to pledge. So I've been, you know, trying to create my own clubs and stuff as well. So yeah, that's another thing. Be be active. And another thing, someone talked about like representing yourself on campus. Like even if you a freshman, you like new, like anything, everybody's like watching you. So make sure you have a good name. Like make sure you're known but not known for something bad.
I also feel like it's important, like, yeah, the grades and the and join the activities and stuff, but also I feel like it's important to network and like get close to your teachers, because like at the end of my first semester, I like had this one grade that was like, it was like either you get it or you don't. So I had to like talk to my teacher and consult with him, talk to him, ask him if there's like anything else I can do in order to like get my grade up. And I was like, he liked me during the year, so he just like pushed it up for me, so I was able to do well in the class.
I can also attest to kind of just making sure you're on your stuff freshman year, because my first semester as well, like I was going through it. I was doing a lot of stuff. I guess you could say too active, but I definitely could have like sat down, did my stuff a little bit more, could have just actually did my work. But by the grace of God, I actually finished off my first semester pretty good. But I think that was a sign to kind of just tell me like, yo, you need to, you know, stop slacking. You need to stop doing X, Y, and Z. So back to what Jonathan was saying too, you know, don't focus on the parties or all the other stuff. Like actually do your work, actually do what you need to do. So.
And let's not get this confused. College is college. You are going to have fun. You are going to enjoy yourself. You are going to go to functions. You are going to do that. Everybody on this call is telling you not to make that a priority, right? So it's called time management that people fuss at y'all about now in high school. Like, manage the time well. You know what I'm saying? Like, my freshman year, I think I went to like many parties. But trust me, before I got to that party, my homework was done, so I could have stayed out as late as I wanted to from that party, right? Because if I waited, then I'm stuck in between. Well, now at the end of the semester, I got to ask my professor for that grace. Now I got to ask them for this. Now I got to ask them for that. But if you had shown a person up front that you were serious about their classroom, and then when you did mess up and when you did have a rough time, you could get the grace you needed very easily. Right, especially at HBCUs, like the professors are not there to drag you down. I'm sorry, but at some of these big schools, like Big Ivies, they are very black or white. Like I got 500 people in my classroom. I cannot sit here and wait for you to get your life together, right? At HBCUs, most of the time it's a lot smaller and a lot more family oriented, so they're willing to help, but you will have those professors that challenge you to the T. And be like, your paper wasn't in at 11 o'clock. Don't email it to me. I told you to turn it in on Blackboard. And if you email it to me, I'm going to give you a 0, period. Because they're trying to teach you a lesson, not force you to be somebody that you're not. And that's all that college is doing. You pay all this money for a piece of paper to qualify you to do a job. That's it. But in it, you learn how to think. You learn how to operate. You learn how to manage yourself better. And it grooms you to be a better individual, such as Jonathan that's out here doing amazing things in life. So, you know.
I muted myself, sorry. So Think Common, CGF, mentors, board members, do you all want to share what your experience was like at your HBCUs? Just want to point out that we have Sean Glover, who's from Think Common. He went to Southern University in Louisiana. And then we had Eric Wilson join, who is at Clark Atlanta as well, and Chris Collins, who's joined from North Carolina A&T. But any of the team want to share their experience from their HBCUs, what it was like? Sean, come off of mute.
That's Southern education.
We don't hear you.
We don't hear you, Sean.
Oh. All right, Carl, Sharon, Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean, I'll chime in. I guess I'm telling another side of the story about what not to do at HBCUs. So I went to Florida A&M straight out of high school. I actually went down there for summer school like 3 weeks after I graduated from Kenwood. The president at the time, I think it was Frederick Humphreys, he was our commencement speaker, and he basically told the parents in the audience, if your child doesn't know what they're doing after today, send them to Florida A&M. So I think I applied to like maybe 1 or 2 schools out of high school. Really wasn't my focus. My whole thing was I'm gonna get a job, CTA, railroad or whatever, stack some money and do my thing in Chicago. Wasn't thinking about college. So when the opportunity came, you know, I reluctantly went, but I went down there with like 3 or 4 of my main guys. So it wasn't really like a new experience because we did the same thing we did in Chicago. We was just in Tallahassee. And I say that to say that was probably a gift and a curse, because being surrounded by so many people that I'm comfortable with, I limited myself to the experiences that I potentially could have had at Florida A&M. And so I just kind of was in that same cycle of doing the same thing I was doing in Chicago, not really paying too much attention to education or academics, just kind of getting into every other thing that you could possibly get into a small town being from Chicago. So academics was not my focus. And so for me, I call myself a statistic of fam because a lot of people get caught up in that life in Tallahassee or just being down there. And so the one message that I would share with you guys is, you know, kind of echoing what everybody has said before me, but just understand who you are, understand what your limits are initially, and just really where you're at with those HBCUs, don't get caught up in everything else, because that stuff is going to be there for 3-4 years. Even when you graduate, alumni is crazy when you go down to homecoming after you graduate. So all that stuff is going to be there. Just really focus in on what your academics are so you can have those opportunities. But for me, I guess, like, I don't believe in coincidence, so I wouldn't change my experience. Got lifelong friends that I still connect with now, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that I could take away just from an HBCU is just the networking opportunity that you have with so many different black people. Like in Chicago, we think we the stuff. And so when we go to these different cities and we see all these other people who think they the stuff too from they different cities and they different cliques, you start to see the world is a lot bigger than just, you know, your city, your high school. And so, you know, just taking that opportunity to be open to just experience life with those guys or those young women at that early age. I think that's, to me, again, that was probably the biggest impact that college had on me for not finishing that fam, but just being down there for a couple of years and just really getting to know myself and you know, knowing other people, like I said, who I still connect with now. And we about business now that we done got a little older. So that's my deal.
All right. Thank you, Carl. We got Sean back.
Hey, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
I heard that little slick comment, Jonathan. I'm going to deal with you later. But, man, I just want to just real quick echo what Deshaun was saying, that and I heard all the intros. I was here on time, not reinforcing negative stereotypes about black schools. I was in the call on time. I just couldn't respond. But the main reason I went to HBCU is because my father was working in New Orleans, and he went to Bayou Classic. And to Deshaun's point, he was like, man, I had a horrible time in college because he went to a predominantly white school. He said, man, you need to go have fun, which was odd for a parent to say. He was like, and I had a horrible experience in high school. I went to St. Lawrence when it was 5 black kids there, and I wanted to go to the blackest thing ever. So I wanted to I didn't have any path, anything like that. Basketball was a choice. It was a school. Iowa State was a school I was interested in, and another school. I just said, I want to go black. I was not going into Iowa to do anything. My first day at school there was a sociology class with Dr. Johnson. The first thing he said at school, he came in with the book. He threw the book down on the table, and he said, and I quote, he said, "This the same motherfucking book they got at Harvard." He said, You can sit there and be sorry for yourself and listen to what other people tell you, to what Jonathan was talking about, how you're getting a less education. And he showed us that it was the same book that they had at Harvard. He said, my job is to teach you the concepts and to make sure you understand what's in this book. And from that day forward, it was this pride that I had from here on out. To Carl's point, I went down there. I knew people that was down there, but I didn't go down there with any other expectations. But I was kind of the opposite of Carl. I was open to being in Louisiana. Like, I just wanted to experience new stuff. And when you soak all that in, you still gonna get those lifelong experiences. But it was just like, it was just a whole new world. I ain't gonna lie, a different world, and school days influenced me too. About going, it made HBCU seem cool. So that was the influence of art on me. But yes, I will say this now in my adult life. I don't know if I should tell y'all this, but the main thing is I want y'all to finish. Because when I get a resume and it say Bethune-Cookman and the University of Michigan next to it, I'm going Bethune-Cookman all day long. So us HBCU alumni is out here, man. We making these choices. We making sure you all in the room. Just, you know, we got to shine a little extra. You know, we still got to work a little harder, but it ain't nothing you can't do. I started at KPMG, a big accounting firm. I'm sitting in meetings. I'm pretending like I know shit. I ain't know shit they was talking about. But you know what? When I left that meeting, I went and found out, I wrote down everything. I went and found out what they was talking about. So that's the main thing HBCs taught me. They taught me how to eat. Along with Chicago, but they taught me how to play this game. And during this pandemic, you see all these people freaking out. We always gonna adapt. We always gonna make it. We gonna figure out a way. There's a door open somewhere. There's a screen open somewhere. We gonna figure out a way.
That's real.
That's it.
I tell you, that boy preaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Andi, we ain't heard from you yet. You want to share your experience at Howard? You got to come off of mute. Hold on. You take off from mute, Bianca?
She off.
Okay.
We good?
Yep.
All right. I didn't want to go to an HBCU. That was the last thing and the last place I wanted to go to. I grew up with white people from the time I was born. I grew up really privileged and went to the best schools, which were the whitest schools. So to me, nobody talked about an HBCU at my high school. That was like unknown. And so I didn't want to go. You know, everybody knows Harvard or NYU, but nobody knew Howard or an HBCU. So I felt very vulnerable being Black and, you know, people telling me that they've never heard of an HBCU and what's that and what's Howard? Do you mean Harvard? Like all this sort of thing. And I did not want to go. Meanwhile, my dad, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather all went to Howard. My brother went to Howard, my uncle, my aunt, everybody. I actually wanted to go to NYU, but my parents were like, absolutely not. We're not, no. And they said they wanted me to go to Howard. And are you guys there? Hello?
Yes, Andi, you can't see us?
No, I can't see you.
Over here.
Okay, so anyway, my parents were like, we really want you to go to Howard. I didn't understand it at the time. I was like, it's a Black school, no, all day long. And I wanted to go to NYU, and that didn't happen. And my parents were like, trust us. And I said, okay. So drove me out to Howard in Washington, D.C., and I settled in. And when I got there, oh my God, I saw all these beautiful people that looked like me, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. You know, in high school, I went to a white school. I didn't have a prom date. You know, boys, when you're a high school girl, you know, it's important that boys think you're pretty and like you. In high school, nobody liked me. When I got to Howard, everybody liked me. It was amazing. And that in itself was worth it. And I made, just like Carl said, the best friends I've ever made. I was in the performing arts department, and I was always there. I was never at a party. It was just like, it's where I hung out. It's where my friends were, the teachers were. I wasn't really a party person anyway, but there were a lot of parties. And like Deshaun said, have some fun. It's like, you're only going to be there once. So have some fun. But I would not, even with all the schooling that I've had in these prestigious schools, I would not have traded my experience at Howard for anything. It's a testimonial to an HBCU. It's a testimonial to being a Black person. In terms of what I learned, sure, I learned academics and lots of stuff with performance, but I really learned that I was beautiful. And I really learned that I was someone, a Black person who is worthy of living this life, who's got a right to be here on this planet. All of us do. And I didn't know that in high school. And I didn't know that in all those white schools. I felt very inferior. And I felt like, you know, I was a no one. No one had hair like me, blah, blah, blah. But when I got to Howard, everybody had hair like me. It was amazing. And I encourage, not everybody wants to go there to an HBCU, and that's fine. But I would definitely encourage kids to think about it and to listen to this discussion that we're having today, because it was, you know, learning about myself and my beauty and my value and my worth as a Black person in this world is priceless. I could never get there anywhere, learn that anywhere else. So I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of boys, like all that sort of thing, but I got my work done, sorta. But it was just such a new, it was like almost like, it almost felt like a playground at first, because it felt so good to see all these Black people from the US, from the Caribbean, from Africa. I mean, I was like just blown away. And, you know, people were braiding hair in the dorms, just like cutting each other's hair. It was just such a family. And I never had that before. So it was, all in all, like I said, I wouldn't do anything different. And I feel really grateful to my parents. And I feel really grateful that I was able to have that opportunity. So there you go.
Thank you, Andi. So I love how passionate she just got about her experience. So how about some friendly rivalry in this conversation? So why is your HBCU better than any of the other HBCUs represented in here?
Because Black male excellence comes out of Morehouse College, and that's that, and that's going to be that forever.
All right, that's Morehouse. We got Jackson State in here. We got an NCA&T. Like, what's up?
Harrisville is the best HBCU, period. Just put it out there.
But why? Why?
Because it's like, it's a small campus. It's not that big, and that's the best thing about it. It's a family-focused campus, too. So it's like, you will know everybody, and you'll connect with a lot of people really quickly.
Okay. Anybody else?
Aggie Pride is the best pride. A&T produces the most amount of Black engineers than any other HBCU. We're the largest public HBCU. And like the environment and the culture is just like more tight and connected than any other ones. I'm sorry, y'all, but we win.
Okay. Anyone else?
JSU has the academics and the fun down pat. So it's a little bit of both. So I feel like if anybody is considering leaving their school, you should come to JSU.
No.
I'll just say this. Look, we got the best band. Y'all can keep all that academics. We went to halftime show, so y'all can keep that.
What? You talking about the Marching 100?
Top 5 HBCUs of the nation.
I was talking about the Marching 100 for the best band, Black. That's what you're saying?
No,
I'm not saying that.
No, I think y'all saying that.
I would say numbers don't lie. If you Google the top HBCUs, Hampton is always within.
And it's no other place like Hampton.
We're number 3.
You guys stop.
Spelman and Howard.
Howard is number one.
Howard.
Hampton is
No,
like
other
number
than
2
that,
and number
like
3.
Conversation is
I
not
know
You
that's
want
right,
to grow up
appropriate
and
right
make
now.
some money, come to
Conversation
Hampton.
is not appropriate. I'm gonna stop it right there.
You want to make money, come to Hampton.
Take care of
No.
how to survive in this world, go to Jackson State.
Okay, y'all. Okay. Thank you.
I'm number 1 for 13 years.
So do we have any questions? I'm asking the students that are watching us. If you have a question, throw it in there real quick. We'll try to make sure we get around to it. But go ahead, Sean.
So let me just say this. I got to run though, guys. To Andy's point, I will say that my daughter goes, she had 2 choices 2 years ago. It was between Spelman and NYU. And she really was leaning towards Spelman. She wanted to go to Spelman. The reality was Spelman didn't come with no money. So, and NYU gave her a lot of money. It was like a lot of money. School almost free. So to the students that's listening, we definitely want you to be at the HBCU, but if you do go somewhere else, bring that blackness with you, because this girl, I mean, I see she only wears HBCU sweatshirts at NYU, and I can't even talk to her no more. Everything is she's just too turned. But I'm just saying, wherever you go, whatever you decide, just remember where you came from and who you are, and there's other places to get what you want.
I love it.
Solid.
All right.
Love
So
it.
we do have a question. Okay, so the question is, how did you all pay for your HBCU? So anyone want to start?
Hey, look.
Man.
Pay for, all right, so Morehouse, $50K a year almost. When I tell you, I looked at the ticket price of this school and was like, yo, I'm from the South Side. My mama don't make that much money. How am I going to do it, right? But I was very determined. Something about a South Side kid from Chicago that's a Black male that wants excellence so bad, you had to have the determination. So what did I do? Every night I watched videos to keep encouraging myself of the Morehouse mystique and like what it was like to be there and envision myself there. You know, I took a college tour year. That was great. You know, touchdown, great. All right. But when they sent me that award package and was like, we're not giving you no money, I was like, that's not right. That's not, like, I looked at my numbers. I looked at how much I was involved in. I looked at all the stuff we've been saying to y'all on the phone and was like, this don't even look right. So I called and I called and I called and I emailed every person I could find on that directory until I made enough connections, right? And I kept talking to people and money just started coming in because I believed that I was supposed to be somewhere. So that's if you do. But one thing that really is important about like finding money for school is like, there's so much money left on the table that we never go look for, right? If you write with your left hand, there's a scholarship for you. If you have some sort of disabilities, there are scholarships for you, right? It's not all just on, what's that website? What's the Black HBC website?
UNCF.
UNCF. It's not all on there, trust me. That's like a little portion of it, but they have a lot of ramifications. So you need to go to the library and go get a book that's full of scholarships. You need to go like look in every crevice, every corner, and use every resource you got.
I agree with Deshaun. Also, I think to help you guys out, it would be really cool for each of you to find a couple and have some kind of database of scholarships that you all could look from or that could be given to the next grade. I think that would be really nice because he's right. There's so many that it would take. It's nice to have a group of people who can find them and go after them. What's so funny?
Not you, Andy. I'm sorry.
Okay.
These adults. So keep going, Andy. You're fine.
Nope, that's it.
Oh my God.
I definitely want to agree with Sean when he said that money is out there. You just have to be willing to get it. Just to reiterate, I attend Philander Smith College. Just to show y'all. And one thing I can say about Philander in comparison to other HBCUs, Philander will throw some money at you seriously, like full ride, full tuition, all of that. They are definitely willing to, give you the money if you meet the requirements and everything. So for myself, I'm on full tuition scholarship, but it didn't cover room and board.
Wow! Congratulations!
Thank you. Y'all scared me. But
sorry, out loud, boys.
It's fine. But yeah, so I'm on a full tuition scholarship, but that didn't cover the room and board. So, you know, as a freshman, when you don't know all the information about like the financial side of college, that sounds good, which it is, but it's like, I still need somewhere to live. I still need to eat. So basically I had to come out of pocket for my room and board, but I'm like, you know, like Deshaun said, my mom and dad, you know, they're not millionaires. I'm not a millionaire yet,
Not
you
yet,
know, so
yeah.
I'm not trying to take out all these loans. So what did I do? I got on UNCF because my school is a UNCF institution in the requirements. So I got on UNCF, and I want to say I won about 4 or 5 scholarships in between my freshman year to like my junior year, and it was over $12,000. So it definitely covered like my room and board. So, you know, I definitely want to reiterate what Deshaun said when he said that the money is out there. They give you scholarships for anything, especially when you're Black. You know, they just throw money at you. So don't be afraid to look up stuff. If you need help, need some advice from like us, trust me, I got it on all the scholarships from UNCF. Come to me, but the money is out there. You know, try to avoid loans as much as possible. But loans, you know, if you have to do it, you got to do what you got to do. But, you know, just let you know the money is out there. So it's possible to be avoided.
One thing I would add is that they all, you know, scholarships, absolutely, but then there are also opportunities on campus. I know, you know, if you're interested in a sport or some other situation like that, they have managerial positions that'll pay for your room and board. They'll pay for some stuff like that for you guys. So, you know, obviously you want to try to get scholarships, not try to take out any loans, but your situation may be very different from another person. So don't limit yourself to what those opportunities that you may be able to take advantage of. And so it's like, you know, you try to keep up with the Joneses when you get down there, and it's, you know, that might not be your reality. And so, you know, taking the job at the library, you know, for a couple of hours out of the week, a couple of days out of the week, giving you access to research and still getting a check for it or getting some free meals or free housing, you know, you got to do what you got to do to finish. And so, you know, I would just say, don't limit yourself to what the next person beside you is doing. Like, you know, explore all opportunities. Go to the financial aid office, go to those people in those offices and talk to them. Like, one of the things I liked about the HBCU, and somebody said it earlier, was like, you weren't just a number. Like, you literally could walk into those offices and have a conversation with people, and they would tell you the real outside of what they had to tell you on their regular hours. So, you know, just like I said, just, you know, use that mouthpiece that y'all got from Chicago and talk to those people, because it's out there, and, you know, you just got to take advantage of it.
Somebody said something about internships too earlier. That's important too. There's a lot of companies that come on campus, and I know other people can attest to that. You get some great summer jobs and experience that pay well, paid internships too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tiffany, you got a survey like the folks, like as far as the junior seniors interest from a major perspective?
Yeah, so we do have an interest survey that we often ask our students to complete. They don't always do that, but it really is helpful for y'all listening in. You filling out those surveys helps us with providing not just opportunities and exposure to certain things. It helps like the transition to college team when you get to their side of the program and knowing what you're interested in and how to help guide you to what schools will best suit you for those interests. So we do have them. So once they come around, make sure you do them. If you haven't done one, make sure you contact me or Miss Bianca or even your mentor, and we will get the link to you. But we are getting real close to 8, and we said we were only going to keep it for an hour. So if I say your name, just wrap it up. Any last minute, like last suggestions you have for the current students in the program. If you could look back on your experience in Common Ground, what would you wish Common Ground could have suggested or told you, like anything like that? And I'll start with Jade.
I forgot to talk about if your school offers work study, I feel like you can do that. That's good too, because I'm in work study personally due to, you know, being able to pay for tuition. So I work at a daycare, and I mean it's not bad at all. Like, it's really not bad, and like you won't like notice it, but like as time is like going on, and you know, like it's getting like paid off. So I feel like that's good. So I think everyone should take work study into consideration if you can.
Okay, and if you could looking back on your experience in Common Ground, right? And from the exposure you had to the advice you got, if you could go back in time, would it be something you would want Common Ground to do differently for you, or that you wish you took more advantage of while you're in Common Ground? What would that be?
I feel like I could have took more advantage of opportunities like the events that you guys had. I came to them, but I wish I would have came to all, because I feel like it's an experience and opportunities wherever you go. So I would never know if I missed out on something or talking to somebody. So, but other than that, I love Common Ground. I feel like y'all did what y'all had to do for me, so I'm good.
Thank you, Jade. Deshaun, you hear the question?
Yeah, I did. I think looking back at Common Ground, I think I took advantage. I think I'm on the complete opposite side. I think I took advantage of every possibility Common Ground had to offer. As they like to call me, the poster child my senior year. But I mean, I think if you don't, you look back on it and you're like, why didn't I, right? It's such an open opportunity to be able to do so. And any advice that I could give y'all, I mean, this is your life. So take the reins and really grab it and hold on to it. But know that everybody on here, like these small things, because I know that all the students that are listening get this from their high schools. They get all these panel discussions all the time. And it's like, okay, we hear the same things, but how do I really make that decision? Some people put some questions in the Q&A part about like, well, how is this happening? You know, and it's like, you have to really look for this stuff yourself. Like Black said, like this is an individualistic thing. Everything does not come from you, just us talking at you. So you have to do your homework and you have to do your research, and you gotta, if you believe in God, pray about it. It took a lot of prayer for me to get to Morehouse, and it took me a lot of prayer to get 4 years later to graduation day. So please just take control of your life.
Okay, and
You said me?
yeah, you heard the question?
Yeah. Man, looking back, yeah, Common Ground, y'all definitely did y'all thing. Y'all equipped me with like a lot of tools that I use today. And one thing that I say that might help other people, because me, I'm very observant and I soak in what I need to. But for those who aren't, you know, just be like more proactive in pulling out someone's purpose. You know, that's pretty much like the main thing that you need in life is your purpose. So you guys present like a lot of options, and a lot of them like pertain to like, you know, what Black people normally do. But like just in general, you guys provide a lot of options, you know, but like for those who like kind of like stuck in the middle, I don't know, like work y'all magic, you know what I'm saying? Figure out how you can help somebody find their purpose. And time management is always something that everybody else can work on. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say.
Okay, thank you. Carl, you got any parting words?
Yeah, man, just not wanting to echo what we talked about earlier, but just honestly, just college is really that space for you guys to just explore and experiment and try new things and just try to figure out who you are. Some people work better away from home. Some people work better close to home. So it's just really figuring out what works for you, and then just going for it. I think when I look at you guys, when I think about Common Ground, I think about all the students that kind of went through. I see some people that definitely need to go away, get far away from their family, and try to figure it out. And then I see some people who definitely need to stay close. And so it's really just, you guys just need to just dig deep within and be honest with yourselves and see what it is that's going to put you in the best situation to be successful. And that's not knocking, right? If you one of the ones that need to stay close to home, it's not knocking you for that. It's just understanding that you saving yourself a couple of years of frustration, a couple of $1,000s of loans or tuitions, so that you don't have to do it over again. Like, you know, I wish I would have stayed at FAM and stayed on my course, but 10, 12 years later, finally got my bachelor's and my master's, and I'm good. But it's like, you just think about all the time and all the money you spent in between, where you could have been levels above what you're doing. But again, no regrets. But yeah, just tap into who you are to know where you need to be so that you can go where you need to go. That's about it.
Thank you, Carl. Evan?
I feel like Common Ground definitely prepared me for college because like Miss OT was always on us. She prepared us and like she taught us organization and time management, and like from the personal essays to applying for scholarships, we were always doing something like each week to lead us to where we are now. So I'm really grateful for that. And so best wishes and Aggie Pride.
All right, Jonathan, you got any parting words for our students? Jonathan? Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me now? No, I think everybody's touching on it. The thing about it is that college is something that you don't get back. You got to enjoy and maximize it. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. It's like with anything with high school or in life, like don't overindulge. Make sure you have a balance. Make sure you keep focused and keep you a solid group of people around you to keep you accountable. That's key because, your friends is going to make or break you. So, your first, well, for me, when I stepped on the yard at Jackson State, they had like just a freshman only, and it's nothing but parties. They got, what I'm saying? It's the live, got DJs be on your way to class. You got every distraction in the world not to go to class. And I've seen people come there and not make it past a semester. I've seen people come there and sleep all day, just go eat in the cafeteria, come and sleep and play video games. Like, I've seen all that. And it's crazy because you and people taking out loans, and it's just like, it's a waste of time. So, and you regret it 10 years later. Don't be the person that 10 years later, you're going to say, man, I wish I could have done something different. You got the opportunity right now to get it right the first way, your first trip through. So you guys got a lot of support with the Common Ground Foundation, a lot of mentors, a lot of tools, a lot of access. You guys just got to make sure that you guys take advantage of that because a lot of people don't have the support system. And it's critical, it's critical. So make sure you guys utilize that, reach out. Don't be ashamed to ask questions. Don't be ashamed to be needy. You know what I mean? This is the whole intent of the foundation is to make sure that, we're surrogate to make sure that we can help bridge that gap for you guys to maximize your life. So make sure you use that. And that's my words of advice. Use it. Don't be ashamed of it.
Okay. Thank you, Jonathan. Chris, you've been quiet the whole time. You got something to share before we leave?
Yeah. So as for Common Ground, I like to say that you guys helped me a lot, but I wish that I made better connections with you guys because you guys were always there to help no matter what we needed, and you got like literally always there. And I feel like since I wasn't very, spoken during my time, I don't feel as connected as I wish I was, but I know I still can reach out to you guys. And I know you guys are still here to help no matter what. And I just want to say thank you for that. And thank you for all the opportunities that you guys put me throughout my 4 years in Common Ground. So, yeah.
Thanks. All right. One black man. You got anything you want to share?
Nah, man, much as I hate to say this, but Deshaun, Jonathan, and Carl did a great job. That really hurt me to say that. So I don't need to say that. You guys covered everything.
Okay.
Unity.
Jelani?
As far as Common Ground, I feel like y'all have really helped me with my leadership skills, for real. Things I did my senior year or things I did my junior year, that really helped me even in my first semester, my second semester in college. So to the students, really just take advantage of like the activities they have y'all doing and really just lean on the mentors as well because they have a lot of knowledge to share about leadership and how to actually be somebody who stands out and is different. So, yeah.
All right, thank you. Ms. Sharon?
I guess I would just touch on just making the connections. I think that if you decide to go with a HBCU, would be an awesome experience. I didn't speak on it, but when I was in school, I was fortunate enough to work in the financial aid office, which was connected to the, I worked in the admissions office, which was connected to the financial aid office. And it just gave me an opportunity to learn both sides of the coin, seeing how some things I could have did differently coming into the school. I ultimately didn't pick Clark. I kind of just fell into it. I was an only child. My mother was separated, divorced, and she was like, I need a break. And I just kind of dropped into Atlanta. So my experience was totally different. I ended up staying in a suite with 3 other people from other places that I just never heard of, really never knew nobody from there, and did not enjoy it. But I ultimately walked away with a better sense and a better connection of who I was as a person. And when opportunity came, when I ended up my mom getting sick, I sat down with the vice principal of the college, and she was actually like, Miss Wilson, you can actually leave and come back. We'll make sure that, you still good as far as your grades and stuff. And it was just awesome to know that, because I did a lot of programs coming in from high school where we going to the University of Illinois here in Chicago. And it's just like you're a number in those schools in that situation. And it just felt great to be somewhere where you were actually somebody was reaching out to you, trying to support you in whatever you were trying to pursue. So I just think that if you do go that way, that you just take advantage of the opportunities that are laid out before you. That's it.
Thank you, Sharon. Bria?
For me personally, Common Ground helped me a lot. I wish that, I had the opportunity to join, a little bit earlier. I came in the end of my junior year, so I didn't get a chance to take advantage of everything or every event that there was to offer. But Common Ground really defined my 4 years at Hampton. They helped me get my internship. Well, they connected me through Inroads. I don't know if you guys know of Inroads, but they connected me through Inroads to get my internship that I had. Throughout of all my 4 years of college, I worked at Discover. And because of that, I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I wasn't in Common Ground, if I didn't take advantage of the opportunities. And with that, they gave me a scholarship. So you just always want to make sure that you utilize the resources that, Common Ground is offering. And, the mentors, Tiffany was always there. Miss OT was always on me about, making sure that I did what I was supposed to in regards to my personal statement, my grades. She would call me, text me all the time. It was like, you got to have this done. So just take advantage of, everything that Common Ground has to offer. And, good luck for those that are transitioning on to college. And, if you guys do want to reach out, if somebody's interested in Hampton, more than welcome. You can get my information from Tiffany and we can connect. But yes, I wish you all well and thank you.
All right, thank you, Bria. Leah, Franny.
My bad. If I could give any piece of advice to you guys, I would say, one, be a doer, not a complainer. When I came to Philander, I was #1 complainer. And I realized that when you complain, you're not getting anything done. You're not being productive, and you're ultimately just making yourself more miserable being there. So I joined multiple organizations, and fast forward, I love my HBCU now. So I definitely didn't feel that way freshman year, but you got to step outside of your box, get acquainted with your classmates, and you'll see that, it's not as bad as you think it is. And I will also say, another piece of advice is the way I looked at college is that it's kind of like the platform to create something out of nothing, So if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to, whatever, your wildest dreams, college is kind of that starting point to really test it out, to see how good you can be at it, or, to see, if you want to be a beautician, to see how many, people's hair you can do and stuff like that. So, I would definitely say, make it your platform and use that to your advantage. As far as Common Ground, I definitely took advantage of a lot of the opportunities. Looking back, there were more I probably, could have taken advantage of. I would say to stay in touch. I don't know if she's still in the program, but Ms. Marsha Boyd, she, if you're looking for scholarships and all that, she knows everything about scholarships. And trust me, she'll have so many things lined up for you. You won't even need to take out any loans or anything like that. So definitely get connected with her. And I will also say, you know, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. If you need help, if you, you know, need advice, if you want to talk, if you just want to vent to somebody and having a horrible time, you know, definitely speak up and talk to someone about that. There's always people around. You know, you have us, you have people potentially at your HBCU. So just definitely, you know, speak up and know that it's people around to help you.
All right, thank you. Now, the other Leah is here too, or Leah Simone, Leah Joyner, are you here? Okay, maybe not. All right, wait, there you go.
Leah?
Okay, Leah, do you want to say anything before we leave?
I would just say pay attention in school and everything and make sure you're connected, because just being quiet at school and not getting into activities and stuff like that, you're going to have a miserable time and you're going to wish you were home. So honestly, if you stay connected and you know, make sure you're doing your work and keeping your GPA up, you'll enjoy school a lot more.
Okay, thank you, Leah. So thank you all for joining us. We tried to keep it under an hour, but it was a really good conversation. I really appreciate all your different perspectives from your HBCUs and your suggestions for our students. I just want to let you guys know that we did send a newsletter out. So this is going to be a series at 7 o'clock every night. We're going to have a different type of discussion. So today was a different world, talking about HBCUs. Tomorrow we are talking about Greek organizations. So pledging, whether you should, whether you shouldn't, what all you need to consider. So we do have some alumni who have pledged, and we have some staff members who will be joining the call. I think Jonathan's coming back for that one on tomorrow night. And then we have a Little Fish in a Big Pond, which is going to be Wednesday. So those who did not go to a HBCU, how was that experience being a minority at a predominantly white school? Thursday, we're going to talk about how to make that decision as to where you should go. So we're calling that Make It Make Sense, whether you should go out of state, stay home. Should you go to a 2-year college, a 4-year college? Should you take a year off? Should you go to work first? Like, there's a lot of different options out there. So we definitely want to make sure we cover them all for the students in Common Ground. And then we have a discussion on Friday called Get Your Mind Right. There is a lot that we miss when we don't talk about your mental health, like the transition from being under mom and dad and then going to college and being completely on your own can be a hard transition for some. Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure you guys are supported so you do not make any major missteps as you're learning how to become an adult. And then also Miss Boyd, as Leah Freeney mentioned, we'll be discussing on Saturday. That won't be at 7, that'll be at 3. It's called Show Me the Money. So she is talking to you about, if you're a freshman, what you need to start doing in your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, like what you can do even as a student in college to make sure you stay in college. We often find that some of our students will go the first year and they're fine. And then that sophomore year, they don't have any money. So they're like, how am I going to stay in school? So we definitely want to make sure you guys know all of this information, because we know this May 1st is decision day. So we want to make sure y'all got everything y'all need before y'all make decisions, okay? So thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. Definitely keep an eye out on that schedule if you want to log in and join other conversations. But good night, Common Ground. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Just go to fam and y'all will be straight.
Oh, before you guys hang up, look out for the link. I'm going to send a link for the exit survey, and make sure that you complete the exit survey to all of my attendees so your name can be entered into the drawing for one of our great prizes. You see, we have 5 winners last Sunday, so every Sunday we will announce the 5 winners after all of our sessions. And Saturday nights we have our live parties with the DJ. One of our alumni students or current students will host parties, so make sure you join us.
All right.
Get there early because they don't let y'all in if y'all late.
Definitely do not.
I don't have no plug. I have no pool, so y'all better get there early.
And everybody know how Miss Bianchi is. I shut y'all down.
All right.
Alumni get entered into a drawing?
Yeah.
Yeah, do we?
So, you can fill out a survey too, Deshaun. Y'all can look when you're paying attention.
Alumni won, actually.
Yeah, alumni won.
All right, I didn't watch that 7-minute YouTube video. I'm so sorry.
That's not my fault. That's not my fault. All right, bye, y'all. Get up. Get up.
Bye.
Get up. hang up on everybody now.
Hey,
Bye.
Carl.
On
Hey,
photo.
You ain't never hit me back.
Who that?